Are you a fan of pro wrestling, comedy, and combat sports? Then we have the podcast for you because we cover that and much, much more.
Do you like to debate with your friends? Do we have the perfect segment for you? It's the 531, where we take any given subject, break it down to a top 5. From there, we debate it down to 3, and then into that number 1 spot.
If you want to get a hold of us, find us on our social medias. Search Working Fans Podcast on any major social media platform. And if you want to find the podcast, search for us on any major podcast platform, as well as YouTube.
Working Fans Podcast. We put in the work so you don't have to.
Welcome back for another week of Working Fans Comedycast. This is episode 43 at this point.
Ooh. We're marching.
We just got our Spotify Wrapped this year, and we started the year with episode 2.
Yeah.
And there was a little while where we're like, I don't think we can keep coming up with lists for this.
Right.
And that's going to play into next year's schedule, but we're not in next year yet. And what we got ahead of us for the rest of this year is 531 romantic comedies next week. That's going to be rough. The week after that, that's December 14th next week. The week after that, December 21st, we've got 531 sketch comedy shows, which I'm super excited for. And then December 28th, the last episode of the year is going to be a year-end special. But Dave, what are we talking about today?
Well, we're talking about stand-up comedy specials. You know, George Carlin had a special. Chris Rock has a special. Eddie Murphy. Like, they're specials. Like, the ones you remember. You grew up on, like, maybe Bill Cosby himself. Or, you know, you remember that. You remember that stand-up special. We're talking about those today.
And that's one of those rare things that almost doubles as a stand-up special and a movie.
Yeah, that could be a movie. You know, and there's like comedy albums too. I mean, you count that, like Adam Sandler had those very famous comedy albums for a while that would come out, you know.
Well, see, for me, when I think comedy special, I think like a filmed stand-up special.
You know, somebody asked me if audio would be, I'd be fine with it. You know, like if you go back in the old times, like Red Fox, like he had all those comedy album specials back in the day, you know?
Yeah, that would work for him.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see how they come. Like if you, the Adam Sandler albums, I wouldn't necessarily put under specials. Mm-hmm. I'm sure I don't think he's put out anything filmed. I think even Judd Apatow like made it a point to get a special out when he was doing stand-up for a little bit. But what are the first couple lists you got on you?
All right. Well, the first two aren't even real lists, but I'll read them. I got Seth Rabin. He's got Hot and Fluffy, Gabriel Iglesias. And then Sarah Bailey said, I'll never get sick of Words, Annihilation, and Squatting Monkeys Tell No Lies. So they're partial list.
Okay.
I'm assuming those are comedy specials, by the way. I don't know which ones those are that she read. I feel like Words. It might be Bo Burnham.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So there you go. Thanks for your list.
That's awesome. I guess I'll bring you a full list. I got Aaron Maxim from the Mothership Facebook group. He's got Eddie Murphy, Raw.
There you go.
Patrice O'Neal, Elephant in the Room. Bill Burr, Why I Do This. Richard Pryor, Live on the Sunset Strip. And Dennis Leary, No Cure for Cancer.
I wonder if that's the one where Richard Pryor talks about having a heart attack. And I always remember this because I saw parts of this when I was younger, and Pryor was before my time. But I remember like he was talking about a heart attack just hitting me. And, you know, he's like immediately you start talking to the Lord, and he's like, "Lord, I'm sorry," and the Lord's like, "You ain't gonna eat that pork no more, are you?" And I'd be like, "No, Lord," and grab my chest, "No," and he's like, "You lying motherfucker," and he hits me in his chest again, you know, and it's like, it was so good. Yeah, he's one of the ones I wish I was a little older and I saw more of because Pryor is generally considered the greatest of all time.
Yes, yeah, he is.
Yeah. I got Pete Stegemeyer. Yeah, that's right. He's got Tig Notaro live at the Largo. Patton Oswalt, Annihilation. So there we go. That's who did that other one. John Mulaney, New in Town. Ron Funches, Giggle Fit. And Eddie Murphy, Raw. And while we're at it, let's give you another list. We got Corey Cap-Hill, Elephant in the Room, Patrice O'Neal. Killing Me Softly, Dave Chappelle. Bigger and Blacker, Chris Rock. And You People Are All the Same, Bill Burr. And then we have Passover Meal, Sebastian Maniscalco.
Maniscalco, yep.
Okay, so there you go. I'll throw one more at you too, because this guy AJ Capuccio gave me just 3 mics. So,
oh, that's a good one. That's Neil Brennan, the guy that wrote with Chappelle.
Oh, and then Mike Salva too. I'll throw you one more. This has Carlin at Carnegie, so I'm guessing that's George Carlin at Carnegie Hall.
Okay,
so yeah, baby, we got some people just
coming with some fire here.
I know my friend Rob actually got to me and just said basically something along the lines of anything Dave Chappelle or Tom Segura. And Andy started to get me a list, our friend Andy, but he didn't actually write it to me or send it to me. We were just talking. And the only thing I remember he said was Patrice O'Neal, Elephant in the Room. So he was a big fan of that. So hearing some stuff about Elephant in the Room.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Jason Miller from the Mothership Facebook group has Chris Rock, Bigger and Blacker. That's another one on the list I got to write down here. Taking the AJ role this week and keeping tally, and that's slowing things down a little bit.
That's all right. That's all right.
We got Patton Oswalt, Werewolves and Lollipops. Kyle Kinane, Whiskey Icarus. Bert Kreischer, The Machine. And Matt Bronger, Shovel Fighter.
My girlfriend's little kid, when I just said, that's all right, that was his voice. Like, he'll tell me something. Like, I'll go, it's easy to get these kids riled up when they're 4 years old. I'll be like, did you eat chicken McNuggets today? And he'll go, no. And I'll go, did you eat chicken nuggets today? And he goes, no. And I'll go, yes, you did. No, I did it. No, I did it. I don't know why, but that shit's comedy gold to me. I don't know. I hear this kid's voice all the time. It's like, nah, I did it. The fact I can piss somebody off by asking, did you hate chicken nuggets? I don't know. It just works for me. All right, people. Let's get on to another list. Took you down that road. Cat Williams. This is from Drew Landy. We didn't get Cat Williams. They didn't actually give us a list. That would have been pretty cool.
That would have been wild.
That would have been wild. I was like, hey, Cat, can you just do the show? Drew Landry has Cat Williams, Pip Chronicles. John Mulaney, New in Town. Patton Oswalt, Annihilation. Paul Mooney, It's the End of the World. Eddie Murphy, Raw. It was Mooney. And then I'm going to finish up with the last 2 comments on this Facebook page that I have here. Matt Eltone has slightly unrelated, but in my opinion, the best comedy album of all time is Touché by Ryan Stout. And then Bo Show, that's his name, Bo Show just has Big Bamboo vinyl.
Oh, yeah, the Cheech and Chong record came with a big rolling paper.
Okay, so you know what that is. And so, yeah, somebody did have a vinyl. Yeah, you know what that is.
But yeah, that's another more like an album, I'd say. It's tough. Like the Live at Carnegie Hall, that's a recording of a performance, so I guess it could slide. And especially for those times, I mean,
yeah,
it wasn't before recording.
I guess that's the thing, right? Like albums were bigger back in the day. Now it's all television. Now it's all streaming. It's Netflix. It's,
Yeah, plus the average comedy fan might not necessarily know what a comedy special is. They might just think anything stand-up is a comedy special. But Brett and Jay Dufresne III from the Mothership Facebook group has Robin Williams, Weapons of Self-Destruction, Ralphie May, Ostentatious, Bill Hicks, Relentless.
Oh, Bill made a list.
Anything Richard Pryor or Bill Burr. And Red Fox had an HBO special in 77 that was fantastic.
I wonder if that's the one called You Got to Wash Your Ass. I don't know if that's true, but my dad told me that when I was younger. He's like, I love Red Pie. He had a special called "You Need to Wash Your Ass." Now, did he? I don't know. I never looked it up. I can Google that right now, but I just think it's pretty cool if he did.
I'll look it up on HBO Max later.
Wash your ass, son. All right. I'm going to give you 3 lists actually here because they're from Randy Osga and friends. Randy Osga himself has Robin Williams live on Broadway, Dane Cook, Vicious Circle, Chris Rock, Bring the Pain, Eddie Murphy, Delirious, Dennis Leary, No Cure for Cancer. And then Randy said, this is my friend Matt Lorenzo list. And Matt's got Robin Williams live on Broadway, Pablo Francisco, Comedy Central Presents, both Mitch Hedberg albums, anything from Stephen Lynch and Bo Burnham. And then, I had a cough, but I had that mute button now, so kiss my ass. Randy hit me a little later that week. He hit me with Anthony Laterra's list. And he's got Eddie Murphy Raw, Eddie Murphy Delirious, Gabriel Iglesias, Hot and Fluffy, Robin Williams, An Evening at the Met, and George Carlin on Campus. So thank you, Randy and friends, for getting all those nice lists there. I see a lot of Robin Williams popping up on here. A lot of Murphy popping up here for Delirious and Raw. A little Dave Chappelle.
A lot of Dennis Leary.
Dennis Leary, surprisingly, too. And I mean, Dennis is good, but yeah, interesting.
Now, speaking of Dennis Leary, next list up is Scott Burton from the Mothership Facebook group. He's got Dennis Leary, No Cure for Cancer, Norm Macdonald, Hitler's Dog, Gossip and Trickery, Adrian Edmondson and Rick Mayall, Bottom Line 2. He doesn't know if it counts. I don't know what the fuck it is, so you got one past us. Brendan Burns, so I suppose this is offensive now, and Eddie Murphy, Delirious.
That's really good. I got Jesse from New Hampshire. He's got a list here. He's got Eddie Murphy Raw, Dave Chappelle for What It's Worth, John Panette, I'm Starving, Blue Collar Comedy Tour movie, and Burt Kirchner, Hey Big Boy.
That is a good one.
While we're at it, Randy Miller, a good friend of mine, I've done my research, and here's my list.
He didn't get cut off this week, Randy. We got Dave straight on his deadline.
Yeah, Randy, sorry about that. I fucked up. I didn't give you deadlines. You take the time to do research, and you put in a good effort. And what do? I cut you off. All right? Not today, son. Not today. We got you all day, kid, all day. I might even have a special project for you if you listen to this and we talk afterwards. So, no, you ain't got to do nothing like that. Don't worry. All right. He got Sam Kinison, Family Entertainment Hour, Eddie Murphy Raw, Robin Williams live on Broadway, Dave Chappelle, Killing Them Softly, and Mitch Hedberg, Mitch All Together. Every time I see that, I just think of Dave Chappelle is like, kill him softly with his words.
Oh, yeah, thinking the Fugees.
Kill him softly with his pain. One time, killing me softly with his words. Killing me softly.
Now, the next list I got for you is Dandy Ramirez from the Mothership Facebook group. He's got Chris Rock, Bigger and Blacker. Check that off. Joe Coy coming in hot. Eddie Murphy Raw. George Carlin, You Are All Diseased, and Martin Lawrence Talking Shit.
That's good. I just got
solid list.
All right, man. I got a text. Something came up there, personal. All right, so a little behind the scenes. All right, everything's good though. It was a good personal. So letting you people in. Not that chicken McNuggets thing I was telling you about earlier.
I ain't yelling at no kids or nothing.
No. There are a couple kids I want to yell at. Tell you what, you date a woman with 5 kids, man. Some of these little motherfuckers. You're like, I told you to shut up. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, I don't say that. Inside, I might a little bit. Inside, I might be like, this. Who gives a fuck? No one cares if you eat apple crisp. Just go to bed. Shut the fuck up.
You can't headbutt a kid during Hanukkah.
No. They're sweet little Jewish kids. Yeah. They had their lackeys last night. I wanted it, but we had to go to the Bellator fight. So
Oh no.
I ate some pizza and beer, and it gave me like the shits and heartburn. I was like, I could have had a nice lackey Jewish meal and been healthy. And I don't even know if it's healthy, but it'd been probably better than that IPA beer and the fucking.
It would
pizza.
give you a different consistency of shits. That's a
Yeah.
fried potato pancake, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe
They're
you're right.
amazing.
I'm gonna try it. You were gonna get on that too, but unfortunately,
Yeah, I know. I'm missing out, brother.
we got Bellator
We still got about 5 more nights, so I think we're good.
Mike Flynn hit it up with a list. He's got Dave Chappelle, Killing Them Softly, Chris Rock, Bring the Pain. I liked it. A few different Chris Rock specials are getting out here. Eddie Murphy, Delirious, Louis C.K., Shameless. Oh, this is a good one. The Original Kings of Comedy. I forgot about that.
That was a good one. That was a movie stand-up special.
Yeah, Bernie Mac, D.L. Hughley, I want to say, Cedric the Entertainer.
Cedric the Alexander.
Yeah, he's on Monday Night Raw. You catch him sometimes with Bobby Lashley. Cedric the Entertainer, and then Steve Harvey was like the MC.
Yeah,
and I remember he got into it with some guy. Guy tried to walk away, and he took his coat. And I remember he's like, "Oh, I knew you'd be back. I got your coat."
Yeah, that was a great special.
Yeah, he has somebody do it for a living. The guy's like computer school. He's like, there ain't nothing about you that says computer or school. All right, your turn. I don't remember.
Next list I got for you is George Chris Turner. 2 first names, cool. From the Mothership Facebook group, he's got George Carlin on campus, Robin Williams at the Met. Check that off. Bill Hicks, Relentless. Nice. Fuck Dennis Leary and his routine stealing. He is a cancer. That's ironic since Bill Hicks died of cancer. 4th on his list is Richard Pryor, Live on the Sunset Strip. And last one, Ron White. They call me Tater Salad.
That's a good one. Yeah, I'm not a huge blue collar comedy tour guy, but Ron White is my favorite out of that group.
Yeah,
I think he was solid. I got Scott from Voluntown. He's got, all right, in case I get busy, forget. That's my title. All right, Bill Burr, Let It Go, Let It Go. Might be something else. Jim Gaffigan, King Baby. Eddie Murphy, Delirious. Mike Lawrence, Sadamantium. All right. And Richard Pryor, Live in Concert. So, Sadamantium, huh? That's what's that, like a salamander? What's that shit about?
Adamantium, the cover, it's a parody where he looks like Wolverine.
Oh,
and adamantium is the metal that's inside Wolverine. So Sadamantium.
Right. Makes sense. It's actually, he's a former guest, and you used a picture of him on one of the YouTube videos.
Yep, from that cover.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
His second album was actually Mega Man Child, and you can imagine what the cover of that looks like, a little 8-bit inspired.
I want to read another list here. We got Jake St. John. He's got he had re-advised this. I forget what his original list, but he was like, can't leave my man Dave Chappelle off the list. So he's got Nick Swartz in Comedy Central, Jake Rule in the house, Hit the Music. Listen to this guy, huh? Taking over the show. Isa Schlesinger?
Eliza Schlesinger.
Oh, okay. Elder Millennial. I don't think I'm familiar with her, so check it out. Mitch Hedgesberg, Comedy Central. Dave Chappelle, Killing Them Softly. George Carlin, back in tow, Life is Worth Losing. And then Robin Williams, Weapons of Self-Destruction.
Wow, that's a good list. Next up, Michael Mullins has Delirious. Norm Macdonald, Take Your Pick. They're all amazing. Steve Martin, Let's Go Crazy. Andrew Dice Clay, The Day the Laughter Died. And Doug Stanhope, Before Turning the Gun on Himself.
So I got to ask, this is kind of surprising. I'm starting to realize, have we heard any Kevin Hart?
No Kevin Hart.
That's pretty surprising, huh?
Yeah, because I God, what I'm familiar with him through stand-up specials, like the
Sure.
one where he's talking about like his uncle out of prison. It's like, say it with your chest.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Even one of his original specials where he talks about like, trying to look like a badass and he's sitting on a chair and it's like his feet are just kind of swinging and hanging,
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all good shit. I like Kevin Hart. He didn't make my top 5,
I
but
don't think anybody being omitted from lists. This is a tough one because this is like favorite comedy specials.
right.
So you can love comedy and God, when you think about your top 5, I mean, you always probably go to like your top 5 favorite ones. People like Chappelle, like
Yeah,
Carlin.
but
That I think Kevin Hart would almost fall through the cracks, sadly.
I think too, what this is telling me, this is my guess, is that a lot of people that do this list, most of them are probably between me and your age bracket. Because I know a lot of younger people from when I worked at the store loved and raved about Kevin Hart. Like Kevin Hart would have been on this list if a couple of those people were here. So I'm just saying, like, it is interesting to see our demographic, I think.
Oh, our demographic tends to be that 18 to 30, sometimes kind of skewing up to the 21 to 30. We're definitely going to see it when we come to our results.
Oh yeah. All
The
right,
next list. What's that?
okay, I was gonna give you another list. I don't
Oh, give
know.
me a list, man.
Fuck it, yeah. I have Damian Saint, Christopher Titus, The Love is Evol, Lewis Black, Red, White, and Black, Jim Gaffigan, Noble Ape, Bo Burnham, Make Happy, and Gabe Iglesias, Aloha Fluffy.
Sounds like a bargain value Damian Priest.
Damian Saint. Yeah, baby.
You know, that's where Halswart. Jesus
How
Christ.
many more lists you got, by the way?
I got 3 more lists.
All right. I have 1, 2, former guest has sent us a thing, and I got 3 too. So
All
that's
right,
fine.
well, I'll give you Dano Halswart. There, I nailed his name this time. He had Louis C.K. Shameless, Brian Regan Walked on the Moon, Dave Chappelle Killing Them Softly,
Hmm.
Ali Wong Baby Cobra, and Patrice O'Neill Elephant in the Room.
Very good. Now, Evan Ginsberg, former guest of the show, sent me a link that I forgot to check out, but he said, try this. It's brilliant. And it's Nico White Dark Out full comedy special. So maybe we can check that out. Evan Ginsberg was a very interesting guest, very entertaining. So I'd be interested in him. But speaking of former
Send me
guests,
that link after the show.
I will send that link. Former guest of the show as well, Gene Jackson sent us a list. Pro wrestler, comedian, podcaster. He's got Thoughts and Prayers by Anthony Jeselnik. Mostly Stories, Tom Segura. Bigger and Blacker, Chris Rock. Chewed Up, Louis C.K. And Killing Them Softly, Dave Chappelle. Man, Dave Chappelle is really starting to pile on some lists here, it seems like for me.
Oh, yeah. Now, I got Albert Bettis. He gave us George Carlin, You Are All Diseased. George Carlin, Complaints and Grievances. George Carlin, It's Bad for You. Eddie Murphy, Delirious. And Dave Chappelle, The Age of Spin.
Oh, very good.
That's one of the newer Netflix specials.
Okay. I got Stephen Allen, and I want to get right to this because first off his list is Kevin Hart. What now?
Wow, that's a good one. That's probably the one I'm thinking of too.
And I also got Cat Williams. It's Pimpin' Pippin. Jamie Foxx might need security. Robin Harris, Baby's Kids. I remember that. And Dave Chappelle, Killing Them Softly. Baby's Kids.
Wow. Now I got a list.
Multiply.
I got
Baby's Kids growing around in my life. Anyway.
I got one last list. I got my own. I've got Bill Hicks, Relentless. Dave Chappelle, The Bird Revelation. Cat Williams, American Hustle, the movie. Tom Segura, Completely Normal. And Jerry Seinfeld, I'm Telling You for the Last Time.
Oh, way to go. Put Jerry Seinfeld in there, man. So let me hit you with my list and we'll get the final tally, see what we're at and what we're doing. I have a huge African-American influence on me. That's what I can tell you. Like I just grew up listening to African-American comedies, so much so that I would say in a slightly more racist time period, I remember members of my family who they weren't hateful. They weren't committing hate crimes or anything, but would say stupid things. I remember I think they would say things about why he always liked the black comedians, why he always liked I don't know. I was into the African American culture, thought Sugar Ray Leonard was one of the greatest boxers I ever seen. Loved the name. Rocky Johnson, Soul Man Rocky Johnson, pretty cool. And when it came to comedy, man, Pryor, I was getting the tail end of that. Murphy was great. And I don't know. But here's my list. And you're going to see Dave Chappelle, Killing Them Softly. Chris Rock, Never Scared. Also Chris Rock, Bigger Blacker. And then I got Murphy Delirious and Murphy Raw. And just some, fun tidbits if I remember from the show, like Dave Chappelle, Killing Them Softly. I always remember a couple bits in there where he was talking about the difference between when white people and black people get pulled over. He's like, I got pulled over with my white friend, and my white friend, they said all they asked him for was his, registration and driver's license. That might not sound like much to you, but that's a hell of a story for me. They don't ask us that. Spread your butt cheeks. He's like, why? I got a license too. And then Chris Rock, Never Scared. I think we're just talking about this one. It's like he's got this great line. Chris Rock does a lot of the racial humor too, but his stuff on like the differences between men and women to me.
Does he have a bit on that at all?
About men and women?
About racial stuff.
Oh, yeah, he does. I know what you're doing.
You know what I'm doing.
I know what you're doing. Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. I'll walk that line. But the women, like the difference between men and women.
Everybody listening at home is like, I wish you would, Dave.
There's something like when he talks about just men and women, and he's like talking about how you can't keep a woman happy, and no matter what, she's gonna be mad at you, and it's like he has this thing where he's like, if you like pussy, he's like, marriage ain't for you. I've been married for 7 years. I ain't had pussy since. He's like, I've had vagina. He's like, there's a difference. I hate vagina. He's like, I got out of my vagina thinking, I need to get some pussy. It's really good stuff. Obviously, maybe not the most politically correct, but hey, it's his comedy. And there's the Bigger Blacker stuff. And man, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just go to our list. Who's winning here?
We got Raw, Killing Them Softly, and Delirious.
Okay. All right.
Those are far and away ahead of them. I think what happened with this list is people's comedy styles are so varied that we only really hit on these three things. Like Bigger and Blacker would have been the next one, but that only had like 5 votes.
So funny, man. I just loved it that my comedies, my African American people are like in the top 3, 4, because that's the stuff I grew up on. I love it.
And I mean, it's what a lot of us grew up on. And when you think about comedy specials that stand up above and beyond, Eddie Murphy was almost like the WWE of comedy. He was the biggest thing. And same thing with Chappelle.
Yeah. And
different, like within the same generation watching, but like a different generation of performers.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Murphy was the Hulk Hogan golden age with Rowdy Piper, and Chappelle's that Attitude Era, Steve Austin, and The Rock.
Now it's really down between Raw and Delirious to figure out what's going to be in the final 2. Which you're the big Eddie Murphy fan. Which do you prefer and why?
I'll tell you what. Right now, I watched Raw first, just like I saw The Jedi before I saw Empire Strikes Back. I don't know why. It's just the way it worked out in my life. I didn't even know there was a Delirious. I just knew Raw, and I kind of think I vaguely remember being like, "Wait, did he have a red jumpsuit and another thing too?" That being said, so I finally saw Delirious much later in life, and I've gotten to watch both side by side, and I love them. And I think if you know me, you know there's only one answer, and it's Goonie Goo Goo. I love both of these, but to me, the whole bit where your wife's a Bigfoot Gus, she could not climb a flight of stairs, but I bet she walk a flight of stairs. I bet she climbed the fuck out of a tree, don't you, Gus? I love it. The little hairy motherfuckers. That's just all great shit. Eddie, I'm gonna kick this motherfucker every time I kick this dog, and I giggle my motherfucking ass off. It's good shit.
Now, I'm only familiar with it from the Greatest Hits album. Is that Raw? Or is that Delirious that's from?
Wait, going to Google?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's Delirious. That's Delirious.
All right, so it's Delirious versus Killing Them Softly.
Okay. Yeah.
Ooh, this is a heavyweight fight. Eddie Murphy,
Oh, yeah.
Dave Chappelle, their best work.
I'll tell you right now, to me, overall, in terms of stand-up comedy, Murphy got out of the game a little faster. So I like Chappelle in terms of like his overall body of work.
Yeah.
Comparing these two specials, it's a little harder for me to kind of pick a winner because they're both really good specials. This is Chappelle to me like kind of like his first really good special, but I don't consider this like his prime yet. Like the stuff he's doing now at Netflix is just, even though I had this on my list because I just look at it so fondly.
Yeah.
Like the stuff he's doing now is on another fucking level.
That's why I picked the Bird Revelation for my Chappelle pick because obviously Killing Him Softly, legendary, but just that intimate performance when he did like two specials at the same time.
Yeah.
One was like a big stage and one was like a small one. And I just really enjoyed that special.
So yeah, out of these two specials, I would go Delirious, but that's me. Maybe I'm biased. Fuck them. I don't know what to tell you.
I would almost say Delirious just because, well, it's versus Killing Him Softly. If it was newer Chappelle, I'd say you'd be thinking more.
I would.
But
I
like
think
Eddie Murphy is just like an uncontrollable laughter.
this is like pinnacle Murphy, I think, versus reaching his pinnacle Chappelle, I think. Too.
Well, this is a tough one to call. I mean, Dave, you know what the music means. I think we're going to leave it up to the people. Is it Eddie Murphy Delirious or is it Dave Chappelle Killing Them Softly? Let us know in the comments and we will see you next week.
Yeah, work your pants.